Alright, welcome back to the Supercoach Nuff channel. In this video we're going to preview game week 24 of the 23-24 Fantasy Premier League season. But before we get to that, do need to review game week 23. So I guess probably now that we're getting closer to the start of NRL AFL season here in Australia, I'm probably just going to do the one fantasy video a week, or game week I should say. Just to make it a little bit easier for myself. But I guess for game week 23, it was another really good week for us with 87 points, which was well above the average. Top 1 million for the game week, and got us back up into the top 30,000 overall. So we did dip a bit last week. I think I did gloss over that a little bit in last week's review of game week 22. I dipped down to about 50,000, but a nice little uptick. And I think that mostly just came down to our captaincy selection. So we went with Ollie Watkins, who, as you can see, scored 18 points in what was a dominant performance against Sheffield. So a goal and 3 assists, obviously 3 bonus points on top of that too. So awesome return from him. Was absolutely cheering. I guess the other stars, both figuratively and literally, as you can see, they were in the team of the week. But Richarlison just continuing his awesome form with a double against Everton, as well as Trippier with 9 points against Luton and that high-scoring affair in Newcastle. Excuse me. Elsewhere, not much else from our defence. Dubravka, Porro, Estupinan, each with a point. Palmer with 8, so nice return from him. Gordon went down injured, which was a bit unfortunate. So potential to move him on. And then De Bruyne and Haaland both with an assist, and Alvarez blanking for this game week. Obviously, if you had Phil Foden, you were cheering with his hat-trick. So I guess we weren't predicting Saka to score against Liverpool. We were sort of hoping they would win. So 9 points on the bench was a bit disappointing. But other than that, Areola scored as well as Dubravka. Gabriel with the own goal. So we dodged a bullet there. And Gusto, I guess, conceding 3 goals meant that his score was 0. Yellow card as well didn't help with that. So that was the team. So we've got 2 transfers this week, which is pretty handy. We've also got the double game week to consider. So at the moment, we've got 3 Man City players, which is pretty good. There is a little question mark around Alvarez, though. So now that Haaland and De Bruyne are back, he's probably going to take a bit of a back seat. And sort of play very much a sort of similar role to Bernardo Silva. Great player in his own right, but I guess, probably not where the team's attack is centered around. So there is an argument to try and flip Alvarez to Foden. So Foden's obviously 1.1 million more at the time of recording. And we've only got 0.8 to spend, so we couldn't even sort of flip Richarlison to Foden without doing the second trade. But even then, we'd have to get rid of Alvarez because you can only have 3 Man City assets. I guess the other option is Liverpool, but I want to buy a club. So they're a little bit trickier just because they do have the double. So I'll just pick on Salah. Although he won't be back this week, obviously. Playing Burnley, they have the double against Brentford and Luton, which is a pretty nice double up. And then they have the blank in game week 26. So Man City will play round 26, or game week 26, I should say. So, there is an argument to bring in, maybe one Liverpool player for the double. and then you can bench them. But I don't think you can bring in three. Um, if you do, I don't know how you fit three Man City and three Liverpool in, unless it's maybe not one of the two big hitters from Man City. Um, that would be the way around it. So I guess a lot of people are pretty keen on Jota, given his returns other than last round were pretty good. In Mo Salah's absence, but I think Mo Salah will pop up during the double game week at some point. So for that reason, I wouldn't be going on Jota. If I was picking any Liverpool attacker, it'd be Diaz, just because he's a bit more nailed on, and he does offer the potential for returns. Did have a bit of a blank run through the middle, but has come back a little bit recently. And also, with the run of teams, he could be a good chance of getting some returns. Um, but as I said, I think really it's Man City that you're targeting for that double. If you can squeeze in a Liverpool player, so be it. So, what I'm thinking in terms of trades is, because ultimately I think we want to get Foden in for the double. So, I'm going to go out Alvarez, and it might seem a bit like chasing points, but I think we can bring in Cunha. He did score a hat trick on the weekend against Chelsea. Um, a decent run coming up with Brentford, Spurs, who defense isn't rock solid, Sheffield, and then even Newcastle hasn't been amazing of late. So some good fixtures there. You know, probably dips a bit late, but by then we can probably just cash him out and go with guns elsewhere. So that gives us 1.9, which if we want to bring in Foden at 7.9, means we're just priced out of the Gordon to Foden trade. So that's a bit flat. Maybe I should have tried to do this earlier in the week. I have a feeling Foden's gone up in the last sort of couple of days, given his performance. So what do we do? Do we trade out Richarlison, who's in great form? Um, I know Son could be back sooner rather than later, given South Korea got knocked out of the Asian Cup. I don't know if he'll play this week, but he'd play round 25 and then blank. So Brighton at home is a decent fixture for Richarlison. And Gordon's a chance of playing with that injury, they reckon. So I think it might not appear in the starting team this week, especially given, Cunha's got a nice fixture. So maybe we go Foden. Make the transfers. Confirm. Alright, so let's put together the team for the week. So Saka's back in for sure. It's a pretty deadly looking midfield, even without Salah and Son at the moment. Play the three up front is fine. Gabriel against West Ham's probably worth a shout. So we got Brighton, Tottenham, Forest. Maybe Porro sits out. Just slide them on. Gusto against Crystal Palace isn't the worst either. So, don't know. It could probably work out well whichever way we go. So we'll just stick with what we've got. Yeah, Areola against Arsenal will sit on the bench, so Dubravka's fine. Play the three Man City guys for sure. Yeah, cool. So in terms of captaincy this week, Man United have been in good form, so maybe we won't include Watkins in the conversation. So I think we might just follow the money. Haaland captain, KDB vice captain. Keep it simple. Save the team. Don't want to make that mistake again. And yeah, so that's the team going into game week 24. Kicks off on Saturday. When's game week 25? So next Saturday, excellent. So I've got a week to look at it all, which is always nice. And yeah, so I guess that's how the team is progressing. Like I said, it's going pretty well. Top 30k overall. Absolutely take that. Um, so yeah, if you've got any comments or questions or thoughts, feel free to add them below the video. If you enjoy the FPL content, remember to give the videos a like. Subscribe for all the fantasy content we've got on the channel. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.